All India Radio, Chennai. Tonight, in our weekly program of English, we feature an interview titled The Grove of Research, IIT Madras, with Professor Dr. PRABHU Rajagopal, Professor of Mechanical Engineering and Faculty in charge of Center for Innovations, IIT Madras. In conversation with him is Gollapudi Shri Srinivasamurthy. This is a concluding part.
So last week we were talking about the contribution that the Center for Innovation has in mind, the vision and mission. But what is the actual life cycle, right from the ideation to the implementation phase? If you've got a better idea and you want to really implement it, take it to the next level. So what is the actual workflow that you have?
Thank you. Again, a brilliant opening question, Mr. Murthy. So the life cycle, it's a big, ponderous and loaded thought process, right? So I would like to start with, at the root. So I'm coming up with a bunch of what I call as innovation sutras. I will be summarizing them out in the media very soon.
Okay.
The first sutra at the root is the joy of discovery.
Fantastic.
Right?
Okay.
So this is what I call as the Sutra 1.
Okay.
So basically it's about young people coming together and discovering the joy of making something and doing something.
Exactly.
So on a Saturday evening at IIT Madras, typically we have our amphitheater and there are movies broadcasted.
I see, okay.
But if you come to our innovation hub, you will find it full of students.
Okay.
And sometimes I have asked them, look, the latest movie is playing today. Why are you there? And why are you not there?
It's more joyous.
This is more joyous.
Okay.
So in the whole cycle, if you look at it, the entry criteria, we keep it, very flexible.
Okay.
What is required is student enthusiasm to work on something that could be of social or industrial interest. But the key is to get together and do something.
Do something, exactly.
Rather than just to discuss about doing something.
Okay.
Now that's we give this play for a year, couple of years. Because the typical BTech program is for 4 years.
Okay.
So students can come in the first year, explore, take it more serious in their second year.
Okay.
Then things start getting a bit stricter, right? So if now something serious comes out of their exploration,
the
let's
focus
say
goes,
there is a product comes in, right? That's when several of us get involved and look at it, saying that okay, this looks like something impactful. How do we support it?
Okay.
So we have a startup nursery program. We have something known as Nirman.
Okay.
Literally, build something.
Build something, exactly.
Right? So there, students who are more serious get together, get to form teams, and get some mentorship, a little bit of financial support in trying to make this into a next stage.
Okay, with like-minded ideas.
With like-minded people.
Okay.
Maybe some industrial support, maybe some, angel VC support.
Exactly, okay.
Right? Now, there is no very strict, something. The mandate is to still allow them to explore.
Okay.
Now from there, if ideas are still very good, let's say about a year later, we find that there is actually a very good product market fit. There is a need for this. Then we sort of push them across literally the bridge. We have what we call as the research park, tied to IIT Madras. It is a Section 8 company wholly owned and promoted by IIT Madras.
Okay.
And within the research park is an affiliated organization, the IIT Madras Incubation Cell.
I see.
Also a Section 8 company.
Achha.
Only dedicated to nurturing startups.
Okay.
Today we have over 300 startups over there coming in from in and around IIT ecosystem.
Okay.
So we push them there. There it is all very serious. Right now, then they register a company. Go ahead. The whole process starts. So this is the whole cycle, innovation cycle. Start with the joy of discovery, and then as it matures, it is also filters down. So whereas about maybe 1,200 students are involved with CFI, it's a 10th of that in Nirman. Right?
Understood.
And then a 10th of that becomes the startup.
But the same team gets carried forward all through?
Sometimes it does.
Okay.
Like for example, the startup I mentioned in last week's program, coming from my lab, Planis, was a team from CFI that was working on an automated underwater vehicles.
Okay.
They used to participate in a competition in the US.
I see.
The whole team became Planis.
I see, okay.
Right? There was a team that built the first racing car in IIT Madras that went on to become what is today Ather Electric. It was India's first electric bike company.
Right.
It is now based out of Bangalore. So that's an entire migration that way.
Yes.
There are many such examples. More recently, we have had Agnikul. It's a company that's building satellite launch, launchers for small satellites.
Okay.
They have their own bay in Sriharikota.
I see.
There's a company Galaxy that is looking at satellite-based imaging. There is something TAN90 that builds refrigeration solutions.
That's massive amount of projects actually. But how does the hand-holding happen? In case just a peripheral team just moves to the next level, how does the hand-holding really happen? Do they really play a part, the core team, into the building this startup by itself?
Yeah, so there are two aspects to this. There is an enabling aspect. So I see myself largely as an enabler who must ensure that the things are up and running. The facility is up and running. There is electricity, water. There is funding to do innovation projects and so on. But there is a whole support system. There is a pool of mentors. IIT Madras, has the best alumni of the world.
Yes, absolutely.
We have something known as an entrepreneurship forum called EF. People from the EF actually mentor both the pre-startups as well as startups.
Okay.
I think I would say the singular reason for success of several of our startups is the kind of top-class mentorship they receive. We also have industry veterans partnering with us, Mr. M.M. Murugappan of the Murugappa Group.
Okay.
For example, Mr. Ilango from Oil and Gas, HOEC, right? Several of these industry, Chris Gopalakrishnan from Infosys, Nandan Nilekani, many of them are associated with us and mentor and handhold our young people.
Okay.
And we have mentors at various stages, industry mentors from from the startup world, people who have been there and done that and that kind of thing.
So who have got really practical exposure to the industry, the market by itself.
And
now talking about mentorship, right? Now that's more related to the skilling aspect. So there are what type of skilling aspects that you've got? I know people might have to, for example, the sensors, small example that you talked about last week, right? Obviously you need to know mechanical side of it. You need to know the manufacturing side of it, the threshold limits of each of those. So obviously there are a lot of parameters that one who's part of the core team need to know. So how does the skilling actually planned as you uncover a discovery and take it to the startup?
So the skilling happens both in formal and informal manners. The formal skilling is through our regular curriculum.
Mentorship.
We have our BTech, MTech, PhD programs, courses, classroom based learning. The irregular thing is learning by doing. So we have students teams coming together doing a project. So take for example, we have a team that is building a hyperloop. Right?
Hyperloop.
So this was Elon Musk's idea, now completely owned by our students. They want to build a loop between Chennai to Bangalore.
How far away are we from that project, sir?
5 years, they say they'll have Chennai to Bangalore 30 minutes.
I know it's the buzz of the world today.
Yes.
Hyperloop by IIT Madras. It was a very key strategic project.
Yes.
And I'm sure everybody is looking forward to that. But what we want to know is how far are we away from that? And do we have the enough infrastructure?
My own assessment, if sufficient support comes in and government has bought in, Ministry of Railways has given 8 crores to these students.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Fantastic.
So we are building a 500
about
meters dedicated test loop in our new campus, the Discovery campus in OMR.
Okay.
So it's very serious, and I would believe in 3 to 5 years we will do this Chennai-Bangalore loop.
Productionized.
Yes, productionized.
Fantastic.
There is even a startup associated with that called Tutor. And so it's going to happen. So but the skilling wise, so when they do something like that, there is a range of associated skills, like literally fabricating it. These boys and girls, you would see when you come to the hub, they are actually doing the welding, they are actually drilling, they are actually doing the micro machining, they are designing the PCBs and chips and fabricating them, assembling them. So this is skilling by doing.
Okay.
This is technical side. And on the business side, we have various stakeholders who are handholding the young people and taking them forward.
Very interesting, sir. Very really thrilled about to actually know the kind of projects that IIT Madras is doing. Very thrilled, and I know this Hyperloop project is it's going to be a massive hit project. And but what about the ESG side of it? I'm sure there are compliances and ESGs that you may have to really follow. How detrimental or how open they are for you to actually achieve your goals?
Again, a brilliant point, and something that has caught on. Our own director, Professor V. Kamakoti, has emphasized that increasingly, engineering education has to be about the SDGs, UN Sustainable Development Goals. So we have a new School of Sustainability at IIT Madras, which is bringing together various faculties and solving on sustainability-themed problems and projects. As such. So if you look at the sustainable development goals, there are themes such as access to clean water, sanitation, right, environment, safe working conditions, life underwater, and so on. And so right from the leadership on downwards, there is a realization that engineering education has to be ESG oriented. We are reorienting our curriculum towards that. Even in our innovation hub, a lot of our projects have these ESG orientations. Like Hyperloop actually will solve the issue of fossil fuels. We have electric car, racing cars. We went away from combustion to doing that. We have an entire team called Sahai under CFI dedicated to social innovations. Some of the projects they're doing are, for example, trying to have a augmented walking stick for the blind. Right, in fact, some of the Sahai teams contributed to the septic tank robotics project.
So fully aligned to the ESG norms, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So what is the message that you would like to give it to the youth who are eager to be part of this startup ecosystem bandwagon?
Indeed, today I would say, and I would actually reference my own innovation sutras. So one of the sutras I have is impact creates impact. What this means is that we have to start somewhere. A lot of youth in the country are aspirational. What I find really inspiring working with young people is that today's youth are really motivated to do something. They want to contribute and they have the energy, skills and enthusiasm to contribute.
And avenues as well today.
I'll talk about the avenues.
Yeah.
So now, but sometimes what happens is people are waiting for opportunities. People are waiting for the right platform. What I would say is there is no better time than today. Just get started. The more impact we create, the more feedback effect it has on propelling ourselves forward.
Understood.
So many years ago when I started the robotics work, for example, I had no funding in that direction. Right? Anybody I approached said, why do you want to do this? You are a sensors person. Why do you want to do robotics? But I was very clear that sensors have to be carried in underwater locations. And robotics is the best possible solution to that.
So it's now coupled with awareness also. So people are able to appreciate it today than it was
It has gone through the various stages. So youth today have various avenues. So at IIT Madras, we have the innovation ecosystem, but there are a number of innovation hubs across the country. The Startup Village in Kerala, the T Hub in Telangana, the Sign at IIT Bombay, CIE Ahmedabad. So there are a number of startup hubs available that are there to handhold youth and so on. So I would encourage everybody to get started on any problem they are passionate about, but doing is more important than just sitting back and thinking about doing. That would be my message. And all the social themed startups that have come out of IIT Madras, whether in terms of water, air purification, space robots, space rockets, or interplanetary exploration, are all about young people getting together and doing something, and we finding avenues for applying those innovations in the end.
And taking this forward. Fantastic. So impact creates impact. That's what it means. Thank you so much, sir. It was very nice. While it's always difficult to balance everything, but I'm sure IIT Madras, with its superior kind of knowledge and the inventory of a pool of people that you've got, you'll be able to really get there. Thank you very much, sir. It has been very inspirational and very nice to know the Center for Innovation Strategies within IIT Madras. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening and greetings to all your listeners.
You just listened to the concluding part of an interview titled The Grove of Research, IIT Madras, with Professor Dr. PRABHU Rajagopal, Professor of Mechanical Engineering and Faculty in charge of Center for Innovations, IIT Madras. In conversation with him was Gollapudi Shri SRINIVASAMURThy. With that, we come to an end of this edition of Program of English, and until we meet the next time, take good care of yourselves and good night from AR Chennai.